Hey guys, welcome back to our vegan kitchen. It's almost the holidays, like for reals, and it's time to make tasty treats in the kitchen. And this year we're going to be making all of our treats gluten-free as well as vegan and nut-free, in fact. So
Woo!
I know, right? That's a tall order, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna make something delicious, and hopefully today will be the first of many Christmas vegan treats or holiday vegan treats that will be super delicious. So today we're trying out a shortbread recipe. I loved shortbread as a kid. My dad was a baker, and one of the things that he prided himself on were his cookie collections at Christmas time and his fruitcakes. But I like the cookies. So he used to make the most delicious shortbread cookies. So when I went vegan, I continued in the tradition and made vegan shortbread cookies. But now I recently found out that I need to be eating gluten-free. So we're going to attempt gluten-free. And it's pretty similar to the non-gluten-free recipe. You start off with butter. It's a very high-fat recipe, hence the term shortbread. Short means crumbly. So the higher the fat, the more crumbly the cookie, and that is exactly what we want. We want a nice, short, crispy, crumbly cookie. So you have to use gluten-free flour. Obvi, right? So the way that you try and adjust the texture is to use some cornstarch. So hopefully this will be an acceptable substitute.
We're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out is right. So I've already had my butter softening on the table since I got home from the store, probably about 2 hours ago. So you can see it's pretty soft. I'm using the Country Crock plant-based butter, and we're using a whole cup of butter.
Oh my God.
So that's 2 sticks. I know. It seems like a lot because it is. This is a treat. This is not something that you eat every day. So we've got the butter in there, and what we're going to be doing is creaming the butter and the sugar. So it's just exactly what it sounds like. You're making it creamy together. So we've got our cup of butter in there, and we're going to use some organic cane sugar that's not filtered through bone char, which is cool because nobody wants their sugar filtered through bone char. I would bet I would bet money that if you told somebody that their sugar was being filtered through bone char, even if they weren't vegan, they would be like, I don't want that. Yeah. So we got this one. So we're going to be using half a cup of sugar. Now, whoops, that was a little lump there. This is not a very sweet cookie. Typically, what you would do with this cookie is you would make like a royal icing to go on the top. But in our case, what we love to do with a shortbread is make hedgehog babies. So we dip it in dark chocolate, and we used to put almonds on the outside, sliced almonds, but we're going to have to find a substitute for that this year. But today we're just making the shortbread. And I like to put my vanilla in when I cream the butter and sugar. And that's just a teaspoon. Don't worry, all of the measurements will be in the info box below. Let's go over to the mixer. So you can see that's nice and soft. And we're just going to, like I said, cream it together. Should take about a minute or two. Creamy.
Looking good.
Yep. So now it's time to add the dry ingredients. We're going to start by just adding a pinch of salt. And then we're going to be adding our cornstarch and flour. I'm thinking you could probably use arrowroot if you wanted to as well. We're going to put our cornstarch in first. Doesn't really matter. It's just less. So I figured let's just put it in first. And then for our gluten-free flour today, I'm using the Bob's Red Mill. It's the 1-to-1 baking flour. So we're going to be putting 1.5 cups of that in there. So that's 6 of these quarter cups. So that's 2.
The only reason we're using the 1/4 cup is because the 1/2 cup wouldn't fit in the jar.
Right. All right, let's mix it up, and we should get a pretty squidgy texture. You know, like it'll come together like if you're making chocolate chip cookies. Yeah. Have your spatula handy because you're going to need to scrape down the sides because it's going to be pretty thick. All right, guys, here's a fun fact about gluten-free baking. You don't have to worry about over-mixing because it's not wheat flour. So when you're cooking gluten-free, you're not activating the gluten in the flour, so it doesn't make it tough. So you don't have to worry about, am I mixing this too much? Are my cookies going to be tough? They're not because there's no gluten. All right, mine came out pretty perfect. This is exactly the consistency that you want. If yours is too crumbly, you can add a couple of drops of non-dairy milk to it. I would add oat milk because I can't have almonds. So I'm going to tip mine out onto this saran wrap. And we're going to pop this back into the refrigerator after we shape it into a log. Because that's going to make life super duper simple. When it goes back in the fridge, it's going to get firm. So all we have to do when we're ready to bake these off is open up the saran wrap and make slices, and we have the perfect round circular cookies, if that's the shape that you want. If you want to roll these out and use cookie cutters, you can also do that, but I would recommend putting it in the refrigerator for at least half an hour. Then you can roll it out, but you're going to have to put it back in between each rolling because it's going to get soft really quickly. So let's pop this in the fridge and then we'll be ready to bake them. All right, this is our log. Behold the Yule log of gluten-free goodness. Okay, so we're going to unwrap this. And if you roll it out when it's a little bit more firmer, you know, in the wrap, you're going to get a nice perfect circle, kind of. So we're going to make these about 1/4 of an inch thick.
Those are some thickums.
Maybe a little thicker.
Thicker?
No, I mean thicker than 1/4 of an inch.
Oh.
Like that should be good.
That is a cookie.
Right? And it's still quite soft, so you can still shape it a little bit. You could even stamp something in there, like a design, like an emoji.
Thank you.
Right? An emoticon, if you will. I saw some French fries at the store, you know, the circle ones. The smiles, I think they call them. Mm-hmm. They had emoticon, yeah, different ones. So whatever floats your boat, right?
Yeah.
But gluten-free floats mine right now. So I don't think these are going to spread too much. So you don't have to put them that far apart. But we've got the oven preheating to 350, and these are going to go in for 15 minutes or until you just start to see the edges get a little brown. These can go south very quickly, so you have to be right on top of them. And depending on your oven, it might be 12 minutes, it might be 20 minutes. So just when you could see under here, when it's just starting to get brown, when you take them out, don't take them off the cookie sheet right away. Let them rest and cool off a little bit, and then you can take a spatula and scoop them off. But don't do it before because they're going to be too soft and they're going to break. Here are some beautiful cookies. Ooh. They had a chance to cool off, and I stacked them up.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I hope they're delicious.
Yeah. Normally we would have like chocolate or something on them.
Yeah.
But something tells me they're going to be pretty good.
Really?
Just plain as well.
I hope so. I haven't tasted them yet. Are they short? Are they crumbly?
They're a little bit crunchier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that has to do with the gluten-free flour.
And the cornstarch, probably.
But the taste is spot on.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's awesome then.
Mmm. It's really good. Oh my god, it feels like Christmas.
Would they be good with chocolate on the top?
Mm-hmm.
Or royal icing?
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it. I think mine actually took 16 minutes in my oven.
Mm-hmm.
But I was having a little problem with my oven today because we have a propane stove. and the freezing temperature made the propane a little bit slow.
Yeah.
So, but I think when it was cooking, it was actually the right temperature.
So if you guys enjoyed this, I'm like, chomping at the bit here. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment, let us know if you tried this recipe, and if you want to see more stuff like this, make sure you're subscribed. And until next time, much love.